Digitizing Justice and Empowering Legal Excellence Conference. Welcome to our Noble Salon of the Portuguese Bar Association. On behalf of the Portuguese Bar Association and the FPE, we welcome and are most obliged to receive you all. Senhora Bastonária da Ordem dos Advogados, Madam President of the Portuguese Bar Association, Doutora Fernanda de Almeida Pinheiro, Senhora Presidente do FBE, Fédération des Barreaux d'Europe, Madam President Isabela Konopaca, Senhor Presidente do Tribunal Central Administrativo do Sul, Mr. President of the Southern Central Administrative Court, Dr. Pedro Marchão Marques, Senhora Presidente do Instituto de Gestão Financeira e dos Equipamentos da Justiça, Madam President of the Institute of Financial Management and Justice Equipment, Doutora Rosa Sá, Senhor Presidente e senhores membros do Instituto das Tecnologias da Justiça, Comunicação e Inovação, Institute of Justice, Communication and Innovation Technologies, Dr. Vasco Moutinho, Senhora Presidente da Comissão dos Direitos Humanos, Senhora Doutora Cristina Borges de Pinho, Senhora Presidente da Comissão Nacional de Avaliação, Senhora Doutora Leonor Chastre, Senhora Doutora Paula Mesquita, vogal do Instituto das Modalidades do Exercício da Advocacia, minhas senhoras e meus senhores, dear guests, I will call now Madam President of the Portuguese Bar Association to speak to you a few words. Thank you.
Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you. Thank you. Well, my brief words are only to welcome you. It is a great pleasure to us at the Portuguese Bar Association to receive such an important conference. This is a theme that is now being discussed all over the world. I think people are very worried about the lawyers. I think they think we will be replaceable. That's what they tell us. At least yesterday, somebody told me that. Doctors, physicians, and lawyers are the most replaceable for artificial intelligence. I don't know how this will be, but we face artificial intelligence as a tool, and I think it will be a very powerful tool for our profession. And so last year we had here a conference, Women Leaders in Law, and we had a panel just regarding artificial intelligence, but it was not enough. So we decided immediately with the Fédération des Barreaux d'Europe to make another conference, all of it dedicated to this theme, to the digitalization of justice as we need it, and how to help the professionals to go ahead with their professions using these new mechanisms as tools. So I am very eager to see what solutions we have to present them, what our challenges will be regarding ethics and deontology and so forth. And so we are very pleased to receive you all here. This is a house of the law, and it's the house of the rule of law. And so it's very important to us to discuss all these matters between us and also with our partners all over Europe, because we are all European lawyers. And so we need the help, each other's help to go forward. So my words are just this: welcome. May the conference be very good and very fruitful to us all. And I will give the floor to Isabella to present the conference much better than me, because she helped us doing this work. Thank you, Isabella, for your presence here, and thank you all for being here with us. Have a nice day.
Thank you, Madam President, for your kind words and your warm welcome. And before I begin my speech, I would like to refer to what you have already said about lawyers being replaceable by AI. And I would like to cite the report, IMF report on generative AI and the future of work. And the report is analyzed, in the report it states that concerning lawyers, high exposure, high complementary occupations have significant potential for AI support. As AI can complement workers in their task and decision making. So there is no mention about about replacement, but of support, which is a very good news for us. And now, when it comes to my speech, ladies and gentlemen, I am deeply honored to welcome each of you here today as the president of the European Bars Federation, FBE, at this significant conference on digitizing justice and empowering legal excellence. Let me first express the FBE profound gratitude to Madam President of the Portuguese Bar Association, Ms. Fernanda de Almeida Pinheiro, for the warm invitation to host this conference at the esteemed premises of the Portuguese Bar. This kind gesture not only highlights the critical nature of our discussion, but also emphasizes the spirit of collaboration vital for the advancement of our profession. I wish to acknowledge also the distinguished speakers and participants who have joined us from across Europe. Your presence and contributions are crucial in our shared pursuit to shape the future of law. A special thanks go to our academic partners and the teams of SCAN2 and CREA2 projects. The dedication in developing technology-based solutions has been pivotal in enhancing our ability to protect and enforce our clients' rights in different jurisdictions. We are witnessing a period of significant change in the legal world, largely driven by advancements in e-justice and the development of generative AI tools. The role of the FBE and the role of the Portuguese Bar Association and other bars who are members of FBE in guiding our profession through these transformations cannot be overstated. As we stepped into the coming years, our primary mission is to navigate our profession through the era of unprecedented change, underscored by the introduction of the European e-justice strategy for the years 2024 and 2028. The forward-thinking document approved by the Council of Europe sets out a roadmap for digital transformation in the justice sector over the next 5 years, aiming to make justice more accessible, efficient, and adaptable to the digital era. As we embark on these changes, let's focus on our principal objective to enhance the legal services we provide and guarantee everyone's right to fair legal protection. In conclusion, the Federation and the bars are fully committed to leading this transformation. We are dedicated to moving forward into the future, maintaining the principles and values that form the essence of the legal systems and the legal profession. Today, we have a unique opportunity to learn from our workshop expert about responsibly using generative AI tools for the benefit of our clients. I wish you all a highly productive and enlightening time at this conference. As lawyers, we know very well the power of knowledge and foresight. In the words of Abraham Lincoln, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Let us embrace this opportunity to shape our future.
Thank you. So I will call now the members of the first panel and ask you to come to the table, please. As a moderator, Madam President of the FBE, Isabela Conopaca, and I will call now Doutora Nídia Andrade Moreira. Please give her claps. Mr. Sergei Barbashin, I hope I said it well. Mr. Thomas Hoffman, and Mrs. Karina Versalou. We have a member, the flight is delayed, So if she comes at time, she will be participating. If not, it's shame, but we cannot we cannot anticipate the flying, and sorry for that. So good work. Let's begin.
Let me introduce our first speaker, Nidia Moreira, who is a data scientist and PhD candidate at the Faculty of Law, Universidade Católica Portuguesa. I don't know, sorry for my pronunciation, with a research grant from Foundation for Science and Technology. She is a researcher in the field of artificial intelligence and law with a special focus on the dynamics of sentencing. So we are very delighted to have Nidia among us, and please, Nidia, we would like to welcome you and your speech.
Sorry. It's a pleasure to welcome you all in Portugal, and a special thanks to the organizers. And of course, I will not do all the compliments from the beginning because I have limited time, but I have to say that I'm a jurist by education. So I'm not an AI specialist, and I'm not an engineer, and not a scientist, and not a lawyer. I'm a jurist. But in my PhD research, I am studying the intersection between law and AI. As you know, AI is no longer a specific domain, it's a vehicle for many areas of activity and has penetrated areas that we previously thought to be exclusive domain of human cognition, namely the legal domain. The use of AI systems will change legal reality, and we cannot passively live with it. So there is an urgent need to define the role that AI will play. And AI can increase our knowledge, of course, but it can also change the role of humans. You can see some examples of AI that is being, can be, or will be used in legal field, and there are several opportunities and also challenges in this area, as you will see during this conference. But accepting and regulating AI requires a prior understanding of the concepts, of the capabilities, and also the limitations. So I will try to talk about this. Some concepts seem so distant to us, and I will focus, and for this reason, I will focus my presentation on reflecting on some AI concepts and how AI can influence legal knowledge. And the idea is try to get inside the mind of the machine and try to understand what kind of knowledge we could have. So the idea is go back to the basics and try to understand AI from the beginning, from the concepts. And so I will try to explain you some of the ideas. The definition of AI is really complex. In fact, history has shown that the way its view has changed, and any definition will be incomplete or at least questionable. As you can see with AI Act, every definition is questionable and people talk a lot about it. So the first question I have for you to think in, can a machine be intelligent? Of course, this is a complex question, and you could ask me what is being intelligent. So I will rephrase, can a machine exhibit a human, exhibit intelligent behavior? Think about it. You probably read some writing test that was made by ChatGPT, and probably you thought it was written by a human. So obviously the machine can exhibit intelligent behavior, but this reminds us the Turing test that explained this imperfection. But is this knowledge the same that we are used to have? That's another question for you to think about it. AI is an autonomous field, but as you know, is multidisciplinary because it's influenced over time by various disciplines, namely computer science and also cognitive science, and now by law. And so I will not define, but we can have these different classifications of AI that's depending on the techniques that are used and or the goal pursued. I will adopt one of the classifications that correspond to the two main schools of thought, we can divide AI in symbolic AI as sub-symbolic AI. In symbolic AI aims to represent human knowledge according to rules, so manipulate symbols with meanings and use representational language like logical or imperative language, or for example, formal rules like if-then clauses, and knowledge is represented. But this is also called a top-down approach, but there are complex cases where it's not easy to formulate prior rules to be introduced into an AI tool. There are areas where AI cannot be based on simple and precise rules, so we could have sub-symbolic AI. And in this context, knowledge is extracted by analyzing data, and AI search knowledge through patterns in data, for example. So learn with experience. The link between AI and law goes back a long way. Since the 80s, we had studies in this field. Here you have an important conference that started in the 80s, and it is also occur nowadays. And in the beginning, there was an interest in representing legal knowledge. For example, through argumentation schemes, we can have tools that are based on logical and try to represent precedents. For example, here you have one example that people try to represent the British Nationality Act, and governatory tell us that the most common way of representing legal knowledge involves an upper layer of rules that are interpreted with reasoning cases. So applying this to legal field, applying this to legal field means that you need to first explain the decision at two levels. You need to explain according to the interpretation of the rules that was made by an expert in law, and then you need to translate into code. So you need to reference the logic that is embedded in this model. But then you can also, as I said before, have sub-symbolic AI. And probably you are hearing, so when you talk about AI, you are talking about sub-symbolic AI because a lot of people confuse AI with machine learning. Here we have machine learning. This is the development that has been thought has the real revolution in AI. And machine learning use algorithms that learn from data and from the analysis. So, and through generalization, we can have more information that we extract from data. And in this type of learning, where there is no explicit representation of knowledge, AI learns with experience. And this is the same way that a human can learn. For example, think how a child knows what is an apple. Probably you give them a book with images of fruits, and the children see, oh, this is an apple, this is strawberry. So with AI, happens the same things. So suppose we want to create a program that recognizes images of apples and other fruits. To do this, the system needs to have access to enough data, and eventually will recognize patterns in data using some specific techniques. For example, we as a human see an apple because we know the round shape, we know the colors of an apple. AI use other techniques like analyzing the pixels of an image and learn how to identify an apple. And this, another example, what happens in legal world. Now we have public access to some court decisions, not all, but with the court decisions, we can have text analysis. I don't have time to explain that. It probably an engineer or a scientist will be better to explain this to you, but I'll have to say that machine learnings have been identified as relevant for classifying legal tests and text, and will allow us to analyze court decisions and extract information from the text. This is what we call predictive justice. So in this, we can extract the outcome. We can discover some factors that are associated with specific outcome, and then we can predict future decisions. But the last is where we have not so good results. We are trying to get there, but you need to go first step, second step, and then you probably can predict future decisions, but we need to practice more in this area. But what I mean to say is that the information is taken from the text. So this analysis can be based on frequency of a word, or can analyze the order of the words in text. So it can try to capture the meaning of the word, but how? Analyzing the words that are surrounding the word. So each domain of this has its own limitations. I don't have time to explore the limitations of each, but the most obvious is the problem with explainability. But one specific argument that I think that can explain the specific limitation of AI in general is the Chinese room. Imagine you are in a room and you don't speak Chinese, and you have a database of Chinese symbols and instructions and how to manipulate the symbols, or you have data that show you how someone manipulates symbols. So follow the data or follow the instructions. You can use the symbols to get the right results. So the output, it's okay, but you imagine if you are outside the room, you can distinguish if you are dealing with a Chinese speaker or not. Someone outside the room may not be able to tell you that, so the person is just manipulating symbols without understanding the meaning, but you in fact believe that you are talking with a Chinese speaker. Well, when you use Google Translate, you are not talking with a Chinese speaker, you are just analyzing some words with a lot of techniques, of course. So we saw two perspectives. One that tells us that AI can help us to understand and represent legal knowledge in advance. So what we need requires prior consideration of the interpretation and application of legal rules. And this is hard because, as you know, we have open texture in law, and also law, it's rule guided, but not rule governed. So we need interpretation. And the second one, analyzing data can be important for understanding judicial decisions, but it's wrong to think that AI processes information the same way as a human. So does this mean that using AI is pointless? No, just means that we need to be aware of how AI works. So AI tools, and especially new language models, can help us to solve problems, can help us to structure legal documents, for example, if properly trained for that purpose, but they always depend on a human understanding of the legal meaning. So the mind will always be the human mind and not the mind of the machine. So thank you for your time, and now in Portuguese, obrigada.
So thank you, Nida, for your very interesting presentation on AI. And it was, I think, really very useful for us to hear about AI from such academic perspective. And also it was confronting to hear that, comforting to hear that AI is not so perfect and it will not replace us so soon. And let me now introduce to you the president. We are very honored to have among us the president of European Young Bar Association today. As we know, young lawyers are the future of our profession, and when it comes to new technology, they are definitely the experts, as we all know. So we are happy to have today Sergei Barbashin, the president of European Young Bar Association and deputy chairperson of the Intellectual Property Committee of the Ukrainian National Bar Association. And Sergei today will talk about challenges and opportunities regarding AI for lawyers. The floor is yours.
Dear colleagues, it's a big honor for me to be here. Thank you for a kind invitation to Portuguese Bar Association, to FB. It's really a pleasure. And I noticed that there are many AI, IT, and similar conferences here in Portugal. So I am really proud that your country helped to develop our profession and our future already today. So thanks for this. And I think I will start with a short introduction about my background. In the past, I was a professional computer gamer, and before that, or after I finished IT programming courses, I thought, okay, it's a nice sphere where I can practice, but I didn't find myself like to coding, to be a computer gamer anymore and to get some money from that. And I decided to be a lawyer, but close to this sphere. That's why my primary legal practices are intellectual property and IT. And of course, nowadays we work closely with AI sphere. My topic for today is to briefly describe AI challenges for young lawyers, for the senior lawyers, and for our profession, and to share my notes and information I found interesting. Now, as you may understand, AI not only can replace us, but according to the report, we expect to create more than 2.3 billion jobs by 2025. So it provides us extra job in the future. I think it's obvious fact that AI is growing, and we as lawyers should take care of this no new regulation, new practices, and challenges I would like to highlight today. A joint regulation. I will briefly introduce the regulation we have for present days, and open questions and challenges to us. Among them, ownership of AI products, ownership of works that is created by AI, and of course, duties and responsibilities for these objects. What regulations says to us? I decided to provide some examples. For example, in United States, they doesn't have a common regulation of AI for nowadays, but President Biden announced last year that they would like to make a common directive to provide transparency and standards in this sphere. In some countries, for example, in Ukraine, we don't have a regulation as seed, but also we have roadmap action from Ministry of Justice of Digital Transformation already, and also we have small pieces of AI regulation in our law. I will show it future. In the UK, it's interesting strategy, but they decided not to provide regulation as seeds, but instead to develop high-level principles to guide and somehow to support this sphere by providing these principles and rules. Maybe in the future they would like to make these regulations, but for nowadays they worry that this regulation may harm growing of the sphere. And European Union, as you may know, on December 8th, 2023, European institution reached a provision protocol agreement on the world's first AI Act. But interesting fact that AI Act in EU was introduced even before ChatGPT's introduction in November 2022 and before AI tools come into force. You may find following the link information about AI Act, but for now we will works will now continue on cleaning up the drafting, and I believe we can expect the next roadmap actions. In February, we may receive almost final AI Act. In June 2024, hopefully we will receive final act as regulator, and in the mid-2026, the AI Act probably enters into force. It's still we will check in the future, but for now it looks like a real roadmap action that we can expect in the future. Main priorities of AI Act are next. First is to minimize risk in sensitive sphere, for instance, fintech, finance institution, healthcare, education, public, etc. And main priority is transparency, safe, transparency, non-discrimination, and similar spheres. But question we as lawyers have nowadays, and we should work with. I would like to highlight few of them. First of all, who owns the generative AI platform? For the time being, we understand that compared to traditional IT and software programs, AI platforms may consist of many objects and many platforms. It could be dozens of elements, and we need to identify such objects. But in AI Act, we already established definition for various participants. For example, providers, developers, importers, distributors, etc. So I believe our future task as lawyers to determine these persons, these participants, and their obligation. Next, interesting question. Do AI work will enjoy copyright protection or not? Also, I decided to provide a few examples. For example, in United States and European Union, to enjoy copyright protection, there is needs to be substantial human involvement to its creation. Interesting fact that legislation doesn't provide a clear definition of what it means, significant human involvement for the time being. I like an example from United Kingdom law. It says person who took necessary steps to create the work. But anyway, we should be ready that some question and challenges may appear. In United Kingdom, for example, copyrights work that's created by AI may enjoy copyright protection, and this protection for 50 years. We have different regulation in different countries. For example, in Ukraine, we follow approach, EU approach and United States approach, but we have extra definition like sui generis. It's a separate object compared to copyrights that says that object generated by AI can enjoy by protection, not copyright, but some-minded protection. It means that have less terms of protection, 25 years, compared to general copyright protection of 70 years, and less rights to the owners. But still, we have this regulation. Next question: who owns the copyrights by AI-generated works? We have also a different approach. First, person who created the AI tool. Second, operator, and maybe database. From perspective, some examples. If I use AI tool and receive some information, for example, I would like to receive marketing reports. Obvious, I don't use this tool. I just use this tool to receive an report, and for sure, this result of the work AI tool will be the owner. If we're talking about AI tool as a Photoshop, in this case, I can use graphic image. I use other things and tools to moderate the program and to receive final results. In this case, I am as a user, maybe AI result owners. But according to worldwide tendency, I think we should track AI terms of use. We should track documents and identify who is the owner, and to be already simplify this procedure in the future. Interesting question to us as lawyers: if AI makes mistake or maybe violates someone's rights, who is responsible for such actions? Also, we have three different approaches. First, the AI algorithm creator could be held accountable if there is an error in algorithm. Second, AI system operator if it's violate rights. And third, if we're talking about data collection, that person who collected the data or violate others' rights. So I think we have regulation. We have different regulation in different countries. Also, we have open questions about ownership, about copyright protection, and violation of the rights. As a lawyer, I think we cannot be replaced by AI for the time being, for sure, because what I think, this connection between us as clients, between us as people, is not replaceable by AI for the time being. That's why I think we as lawyers may use AI in our work to run a legal startup, maybe to simplify some simple work. Also, we may add extra services, for example, to help our clients that works in IT and startups, for example, to check the documents, to make due diligence compared to AI rules, etc. Or even to prepare additional documents. For example, we understand that GDPR rules are new also, but we have many legal services related to them. I believe in the future we may have similar services to AI. So maybe thankfully for this rules and new challenges, we will have more work in the future. And as conclusion, what I think we as lawyers should carefully monitor legislation changes. Second, these open questions, we may find answers in terms of use in documents, in the websites, AI tools, etc., to answer them. And I think we are ready to start working with this challenge and to help our clients and our profession growing. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Sergey, for your very comprehensive overview of challenges and opportunities when it comes to AI. And as we are running out of time, I would like just to introduce our next speaker. And then once we have finished, you may have questions to all the speakers, if you, of course, would wish. So our next speaker is Dr. Thomas Hoffman, who is Tenure Associate Professor of Private Law and Head of the Research Group Private Law at the Department of Law, Tallinn Law School at Tallinn University of Technology from Estonia. And I would like to emphasize that we are very lucky to have a speaker from Estonia, because as you might be aware, this is one of the most efficient court system. Estonia has one of the most efficient court system in the world. So.
Yeah, esteemed audience, I'm also very pleased to be here and speak today to you. And speak today to you. I'm a lawyer myself, so even though I will today talk mainly about those technical functionalities of the platform of the SCAN2 project, I will do the best I can do, meaning that I will probably not be too much into those technical details. I will shortly also tell a few words on the SCAN2 project as such, as is the first presentation today on that issue. It's a follow-up project to the SCAN1 project, which focused on finding or actually committing comparative work between different enforcement setups in European member states for the small claims enforcement regulation you may be aware of. And maybe you're also aware of the diversity we have here till this day in the European Union, and which does not mean yet that simply this comparative research led also still to a direct use for the European public, to the for the European user. And this is now basically the main target of the SCAN2 project, because now we are going tech, meaning we have now the task to provide, or actually to upgrade the platform of the European Commission, which is already there and working, into a much more user-friendly, almost, I would say, immersive interface. And right now on that platform, you can upload PDFs. There are certain kind of hyperlinks and everything. What we are doing right now, and I talk now on behalf of Tallinn University of Technology, because that's exactly our task at our department, that we provide, or actually we attribute certain kind of functionalities to the platform. And I will just give a short overview on how this shall work. And then I will go to a short, sorry. Yeah, so basically this is the exact task we are facing right now, to create this IT platform providing effective guidance on the EU enforcement and also access to the procedures European Union-wide. What we have as a second kind of component is a blockchain system when it comes to saving data at rest. So blockchain, just as in Estonia as well, we come to this a little bit later, is not used for data in transit, just really for safeguarding data in the respective databases. So it's not a tool for transit. This is how this would, this is how this would look like on some kind of visualization. So you see basically this the red square is the scope of our working group. So we have the blockchain database on the very top, which is kind of separate element compared to the document store to the right, and the public key infrastructure PKI, which we will then not develop ourselves, but we will use external PKIs. But on this we'll also be talking in a minute. Basically, this is all about identity, digital identity, and its respective extension. If we look a little bit what we talk about when we name digital identity, it's basically any information, an entity used by a computer system to represent an external agent. This can be an organization and maybe an app, may also be some other device. And obviously, we use this every day, right? We have it on social media profiles, public key certificates, can be the phone number, can be the digital signature. And there are, of course, also issues and challenges. Challenges try to be tackled on a regulative way or harmonizing way by the eIDAS regulation, respectively now eIDAS 2, coming into force very soon. But once more, they will just provide common standards, right? They provide an option which you may take or not. And if you look at the respective practice in member states, for instance, in Germany, we also have the possibility to sign something digitally, even via our identity card. But this is only an option, and it is not that much established in practice. There is not that much added benefit to the society. And maybe it's a direct comparison to what we have in Estonia. In Estonia, we have actually the same legal background to that, also in terms of this digital signature, for instance, but it's provided to citizens and even residents by default. So I think it's not even so much the regulative approach which can fill those gaps, but indeed whether you set up some kind of functionality as default or not. And basically, that's one of the main differences we also spotted here during this research. What is also important, and you also practice in daily life, are these kind of various crossing possibilities. Using one identity for several devices, for instance, if you try to log in somewhere, you often are asked, do you want to use your Windows profile, Facebook profile, or any other kind of access points, which can be tricky in terms of data harvesting. But the benefit of it is something which has been then covered, for instance, also by the OpenID Foundation. So basically, OpenID focuses on authentication, which is then in that sense better than what we have on these various other open authority schemes as in Google and Facebook, which is just authorization. So authorization simply enables access, while then authentication actually certifies that it's exactly the same identity or the same person who accesses a certain kind of service or device. And this is again how this looks in a visualization. Little bit technical. I think the next slide tells us once more what are now actually the challenges or also vulnerabilities caused by this. Of course, there are quite a few things I will only highlight here. There's, of course, the absence of synchronization of identification action. So that's this man in the middle attack issue. There can be, of course, the option also that the user has several different OpenID identifiers. There's always the problem of trust to centralized data service providers, which we do not have in certain kind of blockchain solutions, which on the other hand have many kind of costs and efforts which have to be permanently invested then. And then there's, of course, the absence of direct control of the user's personal data, so the entire GDPR issue. Public key infrastructure is then the next key term, which is basically describing what we try to do in order to connect the correct identities within our platform. So as a definition, again, this would be simply a set of tools, methods, and policies needed to create and process public key certificates, enabling this operation of asymmetric cryptographic algorithms. There are basically three central authorities: the certificate authority, which issues the certificate, then the addressee, right, the registration authority, and finally also the verification authority. And they now have to be put into one system in order to make this work. This is how I visualize this. So we have the verification authority in the very top right, recipient down low. Registration authority would be kind of the central entity here. And then we have these different kind of actions among those players. Well, and there are a few others ways to organize it, but they are really very technical. And I must also say, I cannot talk long on mesh PKI, for instance, or any of these things. So let's look once more what Scan2 is now exactly doing in this setup. So what we will be doing is that we are using an external PKI scheme, meaning that we will not issue our own PKI, but similarly what we had with this OpenID setup I mentioned earlier, we will use external PKI in order to make it more accessible to various legal systems. And this will obviously then be based on those criteria which are being worked out within EIDAS2. But again, EIDAS2 itself is only common standards. It's only a model. It's basically technically impossible to have a platform which will autonomously verify now whether certain kind of keys are now compatible or qualified according to those three categories of signatures within EIDAS. So basically, that's a little bit what I see as a law, maybe as a little bit kind of critical dimension here. The working portal will simply work with those kind of signatures which are recognized in the respective legal system by legal practice, and which makes it then also most not only accessible, but I would also say it makes it most flexible, right? Because then the respective practice can also change. When it comes to those external identities or the external PKI schemes, there are two options. Either we would use only those government issued signature certificates, or we do it that we also allow third-party signature certificates, which is not a problem if the respective public authority has granted this task to the private entity. Actually, in Estonia, we do the same. In Estonia, we also do not grant our proper signature on behalf of the state, but we have a private company developing and also maintaining them for the state, which then basically is just as EIDAS2 compatible as if we have the state ones. Yeah, and maybe one last point on this blockchain issue. Well, blockchain has definitely certain kind of benefits, which in my experience are anyway sometimes a little bit overstretched. What we will do within Scan2 is making use of blockchain actually to a kind of minimum extent, in that sense that we simply use it for certain kind of databases with highly vulnerable data, and then obviously again only for data at rest and not for data in transit. And yeah, the advantages are then immutability, respectively also time stamping functionalities, and the signature we would have then by default also by the respective participating parties. But in a nutshell, it is not so that the platform relies entirely on blockchain. It is a component which has definite certain kind of benefits, but it's not a central element. And actually, that's exactly what is also the Estonian practice. Also, this is some kind of myth that our X-Road system, which is on central tool, it's a kind of data highway, I would say, among different public databases provided by the state to both public and private users. Also there, actually is not that much blockchain in the play, as it is often actually connected to Estonia in public discourse. So once more, only for data at rest, provided by a private company, which is here KSI by Gartime, and that's about it. Yeah, and this is once more visualization how we do this then once more in Scan 2. So we have the external public key infrastructure down there. It's bridged to the identity management within the system, and basically the document store is then partly blockchain based and partly also not. Yes, and once more, central point why we do not provide our proper PKI, but we use external ones. Greater trust in signatures because they are already in practice and also recognized. Easier authorization and authentication than in the system, and finally also contribution to the existing ecosystem of certificates is also facilitated by this. And that's once more in a nutshell how this then looks like in the visualization. So we have the external PKI in the bottom low. We have the user, respectively the client's app on the very top. And we have then those three separate functionalities when it comes to storage of documents, storage of vulnerable documents, plus then the authentication, respectively, the signature provided via the public key infrastructure, or also then, yeah, it depends a little bit who is the who makes the first move here, but yeah, it's a connected system with functionalities which go in a nutshell beyond the existing homepage or the existing platform provided by the European Commission, mainly by its automized effects, mainly by its user-directed approach that you do not have to create your proper documents, you do not have to take care of your proper identification, authentication, but you simply type in what is my claim, what is the issue. I would rather prefer not to go to court, but use here the small claims procedure, and then the system will take care of it. And I think this is also what the European Commission had in mind when they gave this grant to us. And this is what we are working on. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Thomas. As we see in practice, digitalization gives rise to many challenges, starting from electronic identification, and we are pleased that the efforts of the research group are aimed at overcoming these challenges. Now, I would like to introduce to you the next speaker, also from Estonia, Ms. Karina Versalu, who is a legal researcher at the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence and a research assistant in Tallinn University of Technology.
Hello, I hope you can hear me and I don't speak too loudly into the microphone. I will wait for my presentation to get on the screen and then I'll start. Thank you for introducing me. My name is Karina, and I am from the NATO Cooperative Cyber Defense Center of Excellence, as well as Tallinn University of Technology. Just to get this formality out of the way, I have composed this presentation and will be presenting it in my personal capacity. And whatever I say should not be viewed as the opinion or views of NATO or the center or Taltech, just to make sure. But let's get into it. Well, before I go, actually, I will not get into technicalities or theory, but I will show you actual tools that have been developed in Estonia and are used in Estonia to make a lawyer's or the court's life easier, to not replace them, but to support them, as you said, Isabella. So these are the actual tools that we are using, and hopefully it inspires you and helps you also in your day-to-day life. So for the background, the very first big step for the Estonian judicial system was in 2005, introducing the e-file system. So the e-file system allows people to participate in court proceedings fully electronically. It is not just a platform for submission or receiving of documents, but it's also a way for people to get an overview of their procedure, how far along it is, any decisions that have been made, and any procedural acts to take place. And it's completely secure. You have to log in with your ID, and we, almost 20 years later, still use it. As of now, there have been many new tools introduced, and I will give a short overview of them and try not to bore you too much with the technicalities. The first tool that I will cover is Extend Law, which promotes itself as a legal technology to help lawyers and courts' life, and most major Estonian law firms and the courts are using this service. It works as an extension for your browser and allows you to go into the official web journal of our national acts, click on the provisions, and see the relevant case law attached to the provision, see the translations, any relevant commentary that has published, and also lets you add your own commentary for yourself or to share with your colleagues. It also provides an extension to the EURLEX portal, where you can click on the directive, see any relevant EU case law attached to the article, or see any national relevant provisions connected to the article, as well as add commentary, again, to share with either yourself or your colleagues. The next portal, called Avocado, conveniently, offers many services, but mainly is for contract creation and management. So it helps automate the creation of contracts based on clauses that you submit. It is also bilingual, so you can translate into different languages, and helps you just manage your different clients and contracts in one system, and helps you create contracts. Do not spend hours on contract templates and things like that. Then there's Crespect, which is another tool created by a law firm, but offered as a service to anybody who's interested. Is meant to be a one-stop shop for a legal practitioner. You can track your billable hours, your contracts, your clients, as well as your invoices. It helps you conduct KYC and AML assessments and much more. So it's a very extensive application. Legid is an app that allows both businesses, clients, and lawyers in one portal to basically find each other. So a person or a business can submit their claim into this portal, and lawyers can basically bid their price, give their price for legal advice, and the client can go choose the most suitable option for them, pay, and then the lawyer will give them the legal advice through this application. So it's a good way to find each other. Finally, the Google Legal Law Bots were created to help with determining whether or not you have a claim. And basically through this chat bot, it asks you different questions, collects data, and tries to determine for you for free whether or not you can submit a claim and claim your money back, either for rental claims, employment claims, or very famously the Dieselgate claim. And it also gave you instructions on how to proceed with said advice. But looking to the future, what else Estonia has to offer, ambitious as it is, if you have ever searched for automation, AI, robot lawyers, you might have stumbled across this article or that article, maybe this one, that one, or this one. And unfortunately, to disappoint you or relieve you, this is misinformation. And it got so bad that the Estonian Ministry of Justice had to publish a statement claiming that we are not, in fact, developing a robot lawyer. So whether you're disappointed or relieved, and neither has there been ambition in the public sector to do so. But what we are doing is continuously trying to find new ways to use safely and ethically AI to support both the practitioners and the judges' lives. So the Estonian Supreme Court regularly publishes annual reports as well as overviews and makes statements about how to digitize and automize the court system in Estonia. And to leave this final quote on the presentation, the Estonian Supreme Court in last October made the statement that the role of the judge should be to verify what is offered by the artificial intelligence, the further development of law, the making of discretionary decisions, as well as identification of artificial intelligence shortcomings. But at the end, a very controversial statement. In essence, the computer could take over most of the current work of the secretaries and bailiffs. So as ambitious as it is, we don't know whether that will be the case or not, but I do thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Karina. As we learn from your presentation, Estonia has successfully implemented various digital tools in their legal and judicial systems, and we can enhance our practice and justice system by drawing on the experiences and methods of Estonian lawyers and courts. Instead of reinventing the wheel, we can just efficiently improve by adapting the proven Estonian practices. And thank you to all the speakers. We unfortunately, one of our speakers has not she has just arrived. Okay. So, okay, yes, we would like to welcome you warmly, Paola. You have just arrived in time.
I'm sorry for my time.
Yeah, so. Would you be ready to take the floor now, Paola? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to invite you to take the floor. You can. Yes, I think no problem. You can have your presentation from here. Yes, yes. Just really.
You already have my slides.
I'm just asking for that.
Okay.
They had it. They had it. Yeah. Mhm.
You just did so well.
Yeah, you can.
Yes, so in the meantime, let me introduce Paola. Paola is from VUB University from Brussels, and Private and Economic Law Faculty of Law and Private and Economic Law, Faculty of Law and Criminology.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry, but my flight was late. So good afternoon. And today I'm gonna introduce you this country project. Thank you very much. Okay. So today I'm gonna introduce you this country project. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. First thing first. So I would like to highlight a special link among cross-border proceedings on one side and digitalization on the other side. We are living in an era that it's fully digitalized. What do I mean by this? We can buy everything online. We get online services at our disposal on our phone. So the same speed should be received, we should give to our European proceedings, in particular to small claims proceedings, by digitalizing those systems. So that's why today my agenda will be, first of all, by yesterday, I will try to go back to the moment we decide to apply for the European Commission fundings to have the approval of our SCAN project first version. Secondly, today, we will talk about our results of SCAN 2 project, so the one we are going to finish next month. Some partners are here as well, and I take this opportunity to thank for their great work. And tomorrow we look at the future. So we look at the future perspectives of our project. I will leave you a bit of time for our conclusion and question and answers, of course. So let's start from the beginning. European Small Claims Proceeding Regulation. It was enacted back in 2007. So it was established to facilitate and to enhance cross-border enforcement of small claims proceedings. And actually, it didn't fail because it really tried to connect, to harmonize national proceedings for small claims and increase citizens' access to justice. But unfortunately, some criticalities came over. First one, the inconsistencies and fragmentations in procedural rules of member states. Secondly, lack of transparency concerning cost. Why is this a problem? Because if you think about the impossibility to be aware of legal fees for consumers, it means that they cannot predict the future. So they cannot predict if it is convenient or not starting a claim. So this conducted us to a general unawareness of the regulation. And this is the reason why, in the first time, European Commission allowed us to start a SCAN project, the first version of it. It was a fact-finding mission. And we started in 2018 and finished in 2020. Our research started by deploying questionnaires. And after those questionnaires, we realized that not only consumers, but also jurists didn't know that these proceedings was real and they could apply it. They could apply the European one and not the national one destined to small claims proceedings. So that's why we started to conduct more interviews, more surveys, and we proposed to European Commission to put a new subject in university to teach students, all jurists, the possibility to start a claim for small claims in Europe and as a European version. Our results then were, first of all, the development of national guidelines. It was, without any doubt, a good result, but the best one we received for the development of European guidelines. So what were the challenges of small claims regulation highlighted in SCAN project? First of all, the lack of coherent data on enforcement rules of European small claims judgments in different member states. So how did we try to solve this problem? Well, we decided to create in the second version of our project a small table, a table of summary that you can reach on our website. That is tomorrow, I think we're going to look at it, and we're going to visit our platform and our website as well. And you will see that we try to pass this obstacle by putting a summary table with all legal fees, competent authorities, and all those information like a possible court of appeal in order to make consumers be able to understand if not only if it is convenient starting or not, but also to verify the proceedings. So clarity and transparency. Secondly, of course, the second challenge was the defects and the divergences in the member states' enforcement rules and the lack of digitalization for the enforcement process. That's why we applied and we received fundings for ScanTu project, the second version. It's all, well, we can say a key role is the digitalization that comes in with the second version of our project. And to make it more valuable, we started to collect some, wait a second, okay, I'm here. We started a comparative analysis. So this was at the beginning. We started to collect 26 member states' national proceedings, all their rules in a very specific way. And then we collected the data to create an interactive roadmap. You may see on our website, it's a roadmap where you can click on a nation, and when you click on it, you will find all the details that you need. So maybe you can also try and go and check on our website, that you may find it there, and it's very easy to understand it. Secondly, as I said before, the creation of the interactive roadmap, and thirdly, the creation of a digital platform. We got Thomas here, our professor, who helped us with the creation of that digital platform. So what are our specific goals right now? Well, as I said before, the collecting data allowed us, helped us to reach that clarity and transparency in cross-border enforcement. Another key role is, of course, simplification. Simplification, why? Because we understood that jurists and consumers didn't know the language. It is not only about language divide. It's not only a barrier against a problem of understanding. No, it's a problem that it is not a friend. There are no friendly guides to European small claims proceeding enforcement rules. That's why we decided to put this text simplification inside the digital platform. So what does it mean? What does digital text simplification mean? It means that we provided more accessible and understandable directions to each step of the proceedings. And tomorrow, I think we're going to look at it as well. So thirdly, we try to raise awareness of it. So as I said before, we got our website and we try to disseminate our outcomes through online presence. So including the project website, the creation of ScanTu network. And I invite you all to join us next month in Brussels for our final conference of the project. So what about the results of ScanTu? Well, ScanTu for us is the testament to the power of innovation. We really believe that it can be considered a guiding proceeding, leading us into a new era of justice. With the foundation laid down by ScanTu project, we envision a world where access to justice is genuinely borderless and accessible to all. So let's try to look at the future now. Well, if we look at the future, as I said before, we should try to think about ScanTu as the first milestone. So let's try to think as the first European Union regulation for cross-border claims that we may use it as an example for our next step in digitalization. We also have other regulations such as European Enforcement Order, European Payment Order, European Account Preservation Order. They are very useful for cross-border proceedings, but if we try to digitalize them, I think this could be a new way of looking at the opportunities they already offer us. So let's try to something to abandon, something to reach. Let's try to abandon the idea that smaller the value, the less the worth. It's not this. European small claims regulation is the only way to access to justice for those consumers. That's why I insist by saying that if we don't allow those consumers to use these proceedings, they don't have any other opportunities. So, of course, if we look at justice knows no borders, it's, of course, the idea that we need to reach with digitalization in the simplest and speediest manner. Thanks very much for your attention.
Thank you, Paula, very much for your insightful presentation on the evolution of the SCAN project related to small claims procedure and your detailed explanation of its development and potential impact on the legal landscape was truly enlightening to our understanding. Thank you. We can finish, thus we have finished the first panel, and I would like to warmly welcome you to the workshop, which will be led by our distinguished expert, the lawyer himself, and the advocate, and the professor. So combining all in one. Could I ask you, Paweł, to sorry. Yes, good news. We have okay. We will have now a chance of networking and develop further subjects. Thank you. I forgot about. Yeah.
So we have a coffee break upstairs in the third floor. But I will kindly ask for the members of the panel, please wait just 1 minute because we have a little souvenir to give you. Okay, it's a small gift. Okay, sorry. So after our coffee break, I hope you are all very in good mood. And I will call for the workshop Pavel Kowalski. I hope I said it right. Yes. Do you want to speak from here, right? Okay. So I had to close down.
Okay, guys, thank you for those who are with me on this session. What I can say that the world has changed. We can feel it in the air. We can see it in the water. We can smell it in the air. For a year and a few months, we are experiencing ChatGPT in our life, and I'm thank you to all all previous speakers, because they make a great introduction to how these things works and how they are working in our day. But we all need to experience ChatGPT in our everyday life. And a year ago, it was 15th of January, so it's like a year and 3 days ago, I first created my account in ChatGPT. And I thought, wow, that's gonna be fun. I always wished to have such a tool that answered all my questions. After a week, I was completely sure that it's like the all-knowing things that can answer every question, and it's much more smarter than a human. Of course, as you all know, in a couple of weeks, months, we saw that it's not so trustfulness. It makes mistakes. And you remember the hype that was in February, March, April. Just we all tried it, and at that point, most of us said, ChatGPT lies. ChatGPT makes mistakes. It may be a good toy. It may be a toy for youngsters. It may be things to create some good poems. But we are not be using this in our everyday life. As an advocate, I also ask my question, can I use it in my everyday life, in my professional life? And most of my colleagues said that it's not gonna work. Today we had the questions, will the AI replace us? For now, I can say that in most of the things we are doing, no. But the truth is that those who are using the AI tools, and we'll be focused today on ChatGPT, so those who are using ChatGPT efficiently will have much more chance to replace those who are not using this. And you must remember this. And some of you may say that, well, it's the toy for the youngsters, for the young people, for the young lawyers, because they are the Generation Z kids. They do understand how to use it. What I found out, no, actually, the generations from the 70s and 80s is much more efficient in using these tools. I asked myself why. I was trying to understand it. And I found out that this generation of people from 70s, 80s, early 90s, we had to communicate with the computers by writing. We used DOS systems. We do all of this writing. We had to write all these paths. We learned how to use the computer, how to communicate with them in their language. And surprisingly, we can do this even right now. The young people, my son, one of them who is 20, the other one who is 13, they are raised in the world of clicking. They have no idea how to ask the questions. So even if they are using this kind of tools, they are not using it in the very efficient way. So it falls on us to train them and on me to show you how to make the most efficient part of this. So I will today divide my workshop on two parts. The first one will be a very short one, the presentation. We all like the presentations because they are, you know, the colorful and there are some interesting things. But then I'll just switch to my GPT and I'll show you the questions I already asked and the answers. And then if you have any kind of comments, we can ask within these questions. I'll try to show you how we can communicate with this product, with this tool, to actually receive our goals, because it's the most important thing. The good prompting, the good communication with this tool that initially has no information about us. We assume it has no. We are like a blank sheet of paper. So to receive a good outcome, we need to specifically tell it, communicate it, how and what we want. And in some way, I'll show you that it is possible, how the very simple prompt differ from the moment where we discuss the thing. So let's go fast through this. Okay. Yeah, so that's me. We may just pass it. So most of these things was today discussed, but then we in this area will try to understand how this tool may learn, may create any actions, may adapt to what we need. Of course, I will discuss the question which is raised on the trainings I made in the companies. What about the data protection? How we lawyers is it ethical to use it? Is it ethical to use it without informing our clients? Is it ethical to use it? And is there any risk that the data we put there will go on surface in some other place in the world? That's the problem. So basically, AI is based, the ChatGPT will be based on the machine learning. It will create new data. The thing is that we need to understand that this tool is capable of creation of completely new ideas, new informations, if we provide it initially with the good data. Most of the people, when they try to, no, not the old, but those who are reluctant about this, when I was talking to them with so enthusiasm that I like it, that it's so good, they ask me a question. Okay, ask it one question, for example, about some specific articles, and of course ChatGPT lied, made what we call made mistakes, and they said it's not worthy because it made mistakes, so we'll not use it. What I found out is we should not ask it to create. We should ask it to analyze, to synthesize, and to combine the things we already including into this. And this tool is developing so fast that in every company, or if there are small companies, every single lawyer should increase their knowledge how to use it. Because as I said, I started to use it on the 15th January of 2023. And now this tool is completely different. I may say it's like 5% of this is as it was before. So with all of these things, yeah, we got the data collection, so that's what we are actually improving. We got the training of the model, generating of the answer, and coming with the detailed outcome. What kind of challenges we got? As I already discussed, we got this all ethical problems. We need to control the content, and that's what I'll show you how we should this. How we cannot put it on free, how we cannot tell our people, our trainees, that they can use it without checking. because it's all need to be trained. That's why will not be replaced, because still it needs to be controlled. And to control, you need to possess all of this knowledge before. So I'm looking on this as the tool that can incredibly increase my efficiency. I made 2 articles, 2 scientific articles in the last 4 months, and I include analysis and combining of the data used by ChatGPT. I included, of course, in the biography, and both of the articles passed. So I'm right now I'm showing that we can actually use it in the same way. We use calculator, we use Word, and other tools, because it's a tool. Do not fall into the idea that's an intelligence. It's not intelligence. It's still a tool, and we must understand that it's a tool that we can adapt to our life, how we adapting many other things. We get right now 4 big players on the market. Many of the Grok, Bart, they're trying actually to show up that they are more efficient, but of course, in many of the ways, in small paths, they could be better. But I'm always trying to make a comparison to ChatGPT, and at the end, this is the best tool for now. Of course, it may be changed, but the adaptability, which I'll show you in a couple of seconds here, is without any kind of, is beyond any kind of discussion. So that's the one project that we are using. We of course can use it on the mobile app. Right now, you know that you can use it in any everyday way. Well, I'm using ChatGPT. I was in Vietnam 2 months ago, and I don't know Vietnamese, and I could actually order or communicate with the local people. So that's amazing thing. Yeah, we can speak with this, we can talk with this, so it can increase our work. Okay, so the idea about the data protection, are the data we put into ChatGPT safe? And at this point, there are no clear answer. Of course, the creators say that even if there is any kind of personal data, it will be cleared. If you will try to use any kind of document with the personal data, it will say it cannot process the document. So if you try to make a scan of the document, where there'll be information like ID number of the people or their name, place where they live, it will say you cannot proceed with this. You need to remove it. But even though we need to be aware that these things are not yet completely safe, but I can say in the same way that any other Microsoft Office or any other products we use. So we need to rely on this. We got the price, and one of the most important things, I was talking to someone that someone tried to make a good data about the Portuguese actions. The thing is that we must remember that English is the GPT natural language. And as far as we can ask it in any other language, if you want to receive the best possible outcome, do it in English. For now and for, I think, many months to come, that's the most efficient way to receive a proper answer, even though you'll see that many times you will ask the question in your own language. ChatGPT will switch into English. I was trying to understand why it happens. I'm asking it a question in my Polish language, and it answers in English. So I ask it why you are answering in English language. And at some point, it wrote me that it's because it will be much more understandable. So for now, if you'll be using this, remember about the English language. So we can use it in your own language, but if you want to get the best outcome, you may do this in this way. Okay, so now how can I switch to my chat? If we can switch to my chat GPT, question time will be later. Yeah, and now, okay. Sure. At my university, we use only Google Google Meet, so I was not good at Zoom. I know I'm kinda okay, guys. So what we got here. Before I go to the specific to the examples of what we can use, I just want you to show that at this point we got a couple of for last couple of weeks possibility to create your own chat GPT. To create your own chat GPT. What does it mean? You can create a tool that will be optimized for your own business. If you see, I got a for education, I got a for recruitment GPT or medical guide. So you can actually train it into your own data. For now, at this point, the company will use it for training. The data you will put inside will be used for training. But there will be possibility, or there is a possibility of the ChatGPT Enterprise, which is not yet valued. There is an option to sign for this. I did it like 3 months ago. No answer for now. But they say that this will be not used for training. So for the big companies, that's one of the things to go. If you'll see this chat, if you'll see these possibilities of the ChatGPT, you can right now use a lot of pre-optimized. Of course, I'm talking about only paid version, and just remember this. If you are using ChatGPT and you are using the free version, you are using a toy. The possibilities of the ChatGPT 3 and 3.5 are very medical. I check it with a lot of hard tasks, and there is no actually real use. So if you didn't use the paid version, you don't know how the ChatGPT works. And you must be aware of this. And I'm always saying that the cost of the $20 per month, it's, I don't, 3 Starbucks coffees or 4 Starbucks coffees. I'm telling this to my students because I'm strongly encouraging my students to use ChatGPT. All of them, the paid version. Some of them told me, are you working? Are you got any kind of percentage for this? But I'm saying that's actually by passing the skills to them, I'm creating for them a head start before all other young students in the market. So with these capabilities, they'll be much beyond that. So today's question, so you can use it for any kind of GPT if you want. If you want legal, you will have a lot of pre-made by other people legal GPTs, and you can check it, you can use it. There will be, you got Swiss, you can search for the Polish one, you can search for many others. You can create your own. I'll not go through the process of creation, but it's easy. It's easy to put your own data. That's, if you know the basics about uploading the documents, you can do this by yourself. But the question is how it can be used, like on everyday basis. How in a company can we use ChatGPT, and if it's really can be any kind of usage. As I said, it's all about the goal, and about the good communication, you must really remember that it's all about what you want. Once again, please. Okay, yeah. It's all about the goal that you want to achieve. So if I'm starting any kind of action, I'm asking to myself, can I make it faster? Can I make it more simple? Can I answer the email much faster? If we replying for an email, we usually know what we want to answer. We got it in our head. But the process of writing takes us like 5 or 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a lot of time if you multiply it by 50 emails per day. So I'm just writing to this. Okay, agree with this, deny this, and set the best wishes, and enter. And I got email. Look on this one. I ask it because sometimes clients ask us for but what you are saying, try to explain this to me. So in this case, I ask this clause of non-solicitation easier. So we can see it how it's being prepared, and look on what is the answer from the ChatGPT. So in this way, it answered, and it's actually the whole legal language, which is understandable for us, but it's not for client. It's really set in the easy way. So from the start of the data time frame rule, it created the idea for the answer. In summary, for 1 year after the agreement ends, the company promises not to hire advisors' employees who recently left, nor interfere with the advisor's business relationship unless advisors agrees in writing. Okay, so in this way, you must remember that ChatGPT can create the same answer for each question many times. You can ask it to create like 2, 3, 4, 5 answers and then choose the best one. I'm always telling to my students, do not rely on one answer. Check it because it's still artificially created. So look here. I ask it about this about the clause. Now base it on the grounds of Polish law. Point a specific statutes and articles, and then right now, ChatGPT makes much less mistakes. Well, 3.5 makes mistakes. The ChatGPT paid version pays not. So look on this. It's actually showed me the specific articles in the Polish law, the Polish civil code, that I should use when I would write this obligation. I did the same, and that's actually I did the same in the Portuguese laws. So probably you can tell me if it's right, but I do believe it's right. It's referring to the Portuguese civil code, the articles between 405 to 408, and how it should be created. So what you must remember, the outcome is the most important thing, because if you are asking the question to ChatGPT, it has no information about you. So you're like a blank sheet of paper. So if I ask it, make me a hiring contract, and that's it. It has no idea how to use it. But if I ask it, create me a hiring contract, and ask me the questions you need for the creation, and then it will ask me a set of the questions with this. So remember, you must not you may not only ask it for an answer, but you may ask it to give you a question so it can provide you with the better answer. Or what I'm doing, and that's one of the most was the most effective things, if I'm quarreling with this a lot with the ChatGPT, because for the long time I cannot reach the answer I want to, but for example after 10 questions I do reach what I wanted to, then I'm asking the questions like this: if I would like to receive this answer on the very beginning, tell me what kind of prompt, what kind of questions I should ask you to do it properly. So then this tool is teaching me how to use it. That's kind of amazing for me. Now, if you will look for this, I put it, a document analysis, I put it one of the Polish judgment to this program, and I ask it, what is it? Please tell me what is it and make a summary. So as you can see, it answered that that's the document from the Polish court the number of the judgment. It told me what happened in this case. Now I said it's not enough. So I asked it, make more detailed summary of this. And I received more detailed summary. Then I asked it, I'm a lawyer representing the defendant from this case. Prepare me a strategy for the case. And you can see what kind of strategy was created. You can use it for creation of the strategy, but also what you can use it. You can put your own strategy, you can put the big outline of the case and put your own strategy and then ask it, please show me a weak point in my strategy. Please tell me what kind of questions I should ask the other side to receive an advantage. Please tell me what kind of discussions I should avoid with my client, or what I need to point my client not to say to receive the best outcome for me. So you can use it for the strategy. And that's, believe me, because it's basing on the probabilities on the cases that was introduced to this program, many cases, it gives you a really good idea. So for the strategy, for the brainstorming, it's amazing tool. There are also plugins which I'll not discuss widely this time, but if, for example, if you'll put a long judgment into this, and you can ask it the questions, please find the inconsistency in the witness saying, and it will say on the page 3 and on the page 7, the witness said this and that, we got an inconsistency. So it can do a long analysis of the documents with the plugin which is called Ask Your PDF. Of course, you always must remember about the data, and that you will not put the data of your clients inside. So look on this. Here it offered me to challenge the evidence, to make for the freedom of speech. In Polish law, we had a couple of months the case where the ruling party in August or in July of last year was trying to create a statute that will make the opposition leader impossible to start. It was called so-called Lex Tusk. And I used this program to find inconsistent with Polish constitution, and it did great. So you can use it for this as well. Look further. If just a second. Okay. So I attached a construction contract downloaded from the internet. And I asked it to check it for grammar, to check it for punctuation, to check it for the formatting issues. And I asked it to make it free of mistakes. And then I received a detailed information what I should do with these documents, to make it efficient. So also that's what can be done before you submitting a document. I still tell you the data, the personal data you are putting at the end, but the construction is being done in this way. By using the proper plugins, I can actually ask it to create it in the form of another document like PDF, like Word, or to make it a presentation out of this. So in each of these cases, it can be done in such way. Once again, I ask it to make it in the way of the Polish how it's being made, and the contract was made for the state of Colorado, but then it showed me the adjustment I need to make it working under the Polish law. As I'm saying, it's a tool to improve my job. It's not to make the job for me. So I'm the one who at the end needs to sign it, needs to check it. So still, but much part of my work actually is taken out, because checking the program allows me to act much faster. And you may ask yourself a question. Well, I'll not be using this. So do I have, because for example, I'm a partner in the company, I'll not be using this. Shall I learn it? Well, the truth is that maybe you will not use it, but your employees will use it, your competition will use it. But even if you're looking on your own employees, you need to know, you need to understand it, because then at some point they'll use it. And if you do not know how to act with this, you can be lost. Because if you will not create a good company policy in using this product, your employees, your young lawyers will start to use it, and they'll put the personal data, and then you may fall into a lot of troubles. So you need to be aware how to use it. Of course, you may say in the company policy, it's forbidden to use it. It's easy. But believe me, it will not work this way. Because people want, especially Generation Z, they want to make their life faster, easier, more comfortable. And that's what's the end of the offer. So you need to get this knowledge. Let's go with this document that we got all the information about the Polish law. So of course it gave me the article to use for it, and I could go much further to ask it specifically which one. If I would say, if I would give much more context, we could go into this one. Let's go. We got the same similar things here when we have discussed the document, how it was, what happens. It was key points from the document, as you can see right now from the document that has like 30 pages. I received specific information about what was inside. Of course, I can do it myself, but once again, it makes my life faster, and I can spend it on other things. At the end of the day, you can use it. I'll show you. For example, you got the case, but you want to check if your students, if your employees read it well. So we can ask it to make a test from any document. And then, as you can see, it created me a test for it. You can ask it to teach you things, and that's extremely also important. You may say that you do not understand that part. I'm using this for creation the web pages, and it allows me to, it gives me the answer. So in all of this informations like, look on here. We got a situation about the pushbacks that took place in Poland. The pushbacks, actually, we got the people from Belarus, from the other nations actually being pushed to being transferred to Poland, and the Polish government with Polish border guards were pushing them back. So I had a discussion, is it okay with the Polish law? So I get an answer for this, and we had a huge discussion with, was the pushbacks legal? As you can see, it said that it's not legal, it's in the violation of the right to asylum in the Polish law. What laws can be invoked to protect my clients? And then it gives me an answer to this, how it should be done. Then we had a long discussion, prepare me a set of legal actions to stop the pushbacks, how to use it, and so on. And at the end, I asked the question I told you. Now, if I would like to receive this answer from the very beginning, please tell me what specific prompt I should use. And then it gave me a prompt that was on the end of my discussion. You can, yeah, just a second. Now, about the strategy. Please provide me with the list of all possible outcomes of below case. Please tell me how I can prepare for all of the outcomes. I'm a legal advisor representing the defendant. And then I gave all of the situation. The defendant was a young, appearing 20-year-old black male who was a friend of the very mature looking here 17-year-old female, and so on. So what can happen in all of the history? So I said, what may happen in the case? Yeah, case dismissal, case goes to trial, what I need to prepare, how I need to go into this. So the possibilities of strategy should not be underestimated in this product. And what is the most hard part in this is that this product, this tool, as I said on the beginning, is constantly changing. As I said, almost every 3 to 4 weeks, we got some kind of major update. Why it happens? Because we entered something which is called the time of the AI wars. You all remember what happened when on one Friday evening, Sam Altman from ChatGPT was fired from the company, only to be returned like a week later, because 2 days later he was proposed to work for Microsoft. So we need to be aware that this part of our life will develop incredibly quick. And we need to be aware that, as I said on the beginning, it will not replace us. But be aware that those who will be using this efficiently, because it's not like you take one course and you are done with this, because I said it's changing. Right now, the possibilities of create your own ChatGPTs, it's extremely interesting. Right, we got a couple of days ago, I still didn't get it because of my holiday. They started a team work. That's what I need to get. A team working. So you can actually work within one, it can combine you communication between users. And there is more, you can have admin console for workspace management. So that's actually amazing if you got your own people working with this and you as the one who can control it. And you can see here that we got this ChatGPT Enterprise, which gonna be soon on the market, but still they're only promising it will be. But one of the things that will be here is that it's not being used for, as you can see, unlimited access, great tokens, and the thing is that it will not be used for training. So I showed you briefly how to use it, but then actually it's your actions, how to, on the one side, learn it, and how to protect your own business by, you need to find your own strategy. But still, if you leave it as it be, as I said, other people will use it. And firstly, I started, my idea was just to make the trainings for the law companies. And I found out that actually the government is coming, and a lot of governmental companies, they want also to gain this knowledge. So these areas are being filled very quick. So if your partners are using this, you at least need to know, you need to understand how it works. And with this call, I'm inviting you to ask any questions. Yes, please. You got a mic, maybe? Oh.
Good afternoon. I'm a Portuguese lawyer. From what I understood from your explanation, is that you have to provide the tools, a database.
You can, yes.
Where to search. Can I provide it in Portuguese?
Yes. Yes, you can. You can actually. You can. Let me just see if I can. If you want to create your own ChatGPT here, you can have your. It's changing. Yeah, you got here. Create GPT, and with this tool, you can set a builder. So you can attach it. You can attach the things regarding your own company in this point, and then actually it can be information about your company, what is most important. But you can also say, what the company will do. So let's say I am a lawyer from Portugal, and need a tool for my legal work.
Yeah.
And it will create it is making all this mechanical stuff, its creation. In a couple of seconds, it will ask me more questions, and then I can make it more and more detailed. And I, of course, can upload the information about the company, about the specific status, about the things I wanted to put it on the first place. You can even ask it to answer. Look on this one. Great choice. GPT tailored assistance in legal work can be a valuable tool. How about we name it legal assistance? I said, okay, let's it be legal assistance. So now it will create probably, as far as, so it will create a profile for you. I mean, the profile picture, you can agree it or not. Let's say we'll not agree with this, and then we can make it more and more specific.
Is there a limit for the capacity of the database?
For the database, you can upload almost infinite number of the documents for this. So yes, but you must be aware that of all the things that you will ask, that you will upload, can be used later also for them to train. The data will not be used, the specific data, but for the training, yes. Look on this. I said I don't like this. I don't like this logo. I asked the logo to be more Portuguese. Oh, we got We got the Portuguese. Okay. And then it will ask context, how it will be referring, how it will be calling you by sir or by very relaxed way, or that it must create a proper answer for the client. So every complex things you will put into this should be transferred into a understand that for the product understandable by the common person. You can do this in this way. So yeah.
So for instance, I can ask ChatGPT to upload a number of decisions of the Supreme Court or something.
Yes, and you may ask it that in your in these instructions, you can ask it that before you reach any of your data, you must always first refer to this document. So if you'll be creating any kind of answer, first you always refer to these documents. Yes.
Okay. So, do I get some protection from the answers that I get, or will the answers be available for anyone else?
The answers are always created in the random way. Well, so let me allow you to give you an example that I like very much. That does any one of you, those who knows who was on my previous training, just don't tell it, but do you know if you got a tail of a pack of cards, like 52 cards, how many outcomes can be in this 50? How many different sets of cards you can have if you just shuffle this? So what's the number of
millions?
It's like you must multiply it by 1.2, 0.3, and multiply by 2, by 3, by 4, by 5. So up to 52. So the scientists say that is the outcome is more than the numbers of the atom from which Earth is created. So if you ever shuffle the cards, no one can do this. And why I'm calling this example? Because the answers are being created somehow randomly, but to most fit the asked questions and the things it was already there. So if you ask it non-obvious questions without the answer yes or no, but the questions tell me about, if you ask 1,000 the same question, 1 times the same question, you'll get 1,000 answers. It may be similar, but it's always be different. So do you get any kind of protection? As I said, the personal data should not flow any further, but that's only the commitment of the company. But still, as a lawyer who is representing your clients, probably your clients would not be happy to know that their data is somewhere there, even though we can sure there is no way it will flow out. I mean, it's the same level of protection as Microsoft probably. So there is no way it should somehow, surface out. But still, better not to do this at this point.
Thank you.
Any more questions? Yes, please.
Hello. First of all, congratulate you for your presentation. I have a question. Can my database be a website?
Can your database be a website? Yes, you can give it a website. You can give it a content from the website. You can do this. But you must remember that many of the websites already got some kind of robots that does not allow ChatGPT to dive in.
Okay, but if I tell ChatGPT this is my website, I want to feed from there.
Yes.
It reload, it updates.
Yes, if each time you'll ask the question, it will check the web page.
Okay.
So even now, if you ask normally, it can check the internet. It's searching the internet through Bing, but if you provide it with the proper web page, it will be checking this constantly. with only exception that there is no limitation set by the web page creator. And right now, not all of them want it. For example, if you try to download the information from Wall Street Journal or other big pages, the newspapers usually, that's not allowed to do this. Right now, also, there is no possibility to search through the Twitter. If you want search through the Twitter, you need to buy yourself a blue sign from X, and then actually you can use it. That's what Elon Musk.
Okay, I'm asking this because I'm also a Portuguese lawyer, and we have a website where some decisions from the Portuguese courts are publicized. And the thing is, I can tell ChatGPT, this website, I want it to be your database, but he goes through the files.
Yeah,
also?
it always goes on the website. It's not going inside. So you can ask it, for example, for headlines, and it will provide you with the headlines, but then to enter each site, you will need to actually tell it, show it, do it manually, unless something changed for the last 3 weeks. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Dasha. I'm a researcher from Slovenia. So my question to you would be, thank you for your presentation. It was really good. But I wonder maybe to what should we be careful for? So where the tool is not that developed yet, maybe to give you a little bit of a starting point, I'm wondering about HR interactions. So maybe HR training or personal relationships, since it's an AI tool, is it capable of providing us a good personal interactions?
I did a couple of the trainings for the HR teams. So what we are actually going through, the HR teams were giving me situations with when in the big company where many of the employees were quitting. So they started actually to make kind of survey. They put all of the answers inside of the ChatGPT, and then it was searching the possibilities. It also proposed a strategy to stop dropping out of the staff, to ask the specific questions. For example, what we also did in the HR, we asked that we need to set someone free from the work, but still his contract is still valid. So how we should conduct our speech and what we should be prepared of to leave the room with the goal that we set. So it can also create any kind of hard situations. But what we need to be, what we need to watch, as I said, we cannot believe it because it's not the way of the ChatGPT does not understand the notion, at least for now, of truth and lie. It's set to provide you with an answer. So at the end of the usage of the ChatGPT must be someone who knows or who can easily check if this is the right way. So as I said on the beginning, we need to check, and triple times check. It still will be much less time than we use for creation, but if we allow it to set free, it's the way to be doomed very quickly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? We are all thinking, oh, okay, about the dinner. Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, we are, yeah, so last one. Yeah.
Good afternoon. Maybe it's already answered, but not today, obviously. But I still have to make the question. We heard about a few decisions around the world with the fake outcomes, fake results from the AI. So that's a big risk, obviously, especially in our work. One case in a court, a Brazilian court, I think, a lawyer present a thesis with false data. So I ask, because that's a wonderful tool in our hands, but there are risks. What about the risks? What can you say about the
Yes,
risks?
you are right. That's what you call it. It's called hallucinations. To understand it, you need to know that, as I said, couple of minutes ago that this tool is created to provide you with an answer. So even if there is no answer, it will somehow try to make it for you. And then it can create a false answer. There is a possibility. So right now it happens much less. Well, I can show you one situation. Show you one thing. Let's come back from the creation, and then I'll ask it for. Let's go for the ChatGPT. Multiply. Okay. Now, if you got a calculator, so I'm asking this if it's good answer. Now I ask it, is it okay? Is it good answer? See? So it's still not. So as you can see, it's not giving you the right answer. Exactly. So the start and the middle and the end will be always good, but look on this one. Now I change it for 4. And it's, look now what happens. It's not giving me an answer, but it's doing the analysis. So it's doing completely other tool right now to give me an answer. And now the answer is probably good. Is it? Yes. So why, to give you an answer, why in that situation it gave me a bad answer, but almost good? It was not good, but almost good. Why the end and the beginning was the same? Because ChatGPT 3.5 is not doing the multiplying. It's a text tool. So as it knows the rules of multiplying, it knows that that the beginning and the end, probably someone asked it. So how much is 346 multiplied by 7, or the end of this? But because no one ever asked for this specific answer, it cannot make a multiply. So by learning the ChatGPT, you will also learn its limitations. So you know when you may be sure that the answer will be good and how you ask it, and then you will know also what are the limitations. So knowledge of the limitations of the tool will actually your strength, because you know how much you can, where you can reach, and where you can be sure that your answer will be 100% sure. So I know right now that if I'll use the ChatGPT 4, I'll get the right answer for the very big numbers. I check it hundreds of times, and I check it hundreds of times for 3.5. It never works because it does not have the multiplication, the analysis tool. So answering only by training, only by working with this on the daily basis, like 15 minutes a day, just testing the limitations, you will learn how to protect yourself from the problem that may arise. And as Maria is giving me information, so that would be the last questions. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah.
To continue the work. Okay. See you tomorrow. Have a nice night.